FDIC, here we come. Visit the Fire Store at booths 110 and 111 for Streamlight, MSA, Lion, Seek, and more. Plus, score free customization on any Box 31 FDIC purchase made directly at our booth. Don't miss it.
Hi, Chris McLoone here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this episode of our podcast. It is April, and with April comes FDIC International every year. And as usual, we will be all heading out to Indianapolis in a few weeks. When I say we all, I'm talking about everybody here in the Clarion Fire Rescue Group, but hopefully you as well. There were just a couple of things I wanted to touch on with FDIC, and it regards education. I think that the education that we receive at hands-on training sites, at the classroom level. This year we have HITS. For the first time, HITS education. Check that out at FDIC.com. 20-minute sessions, hard-hitting, intensive training. Make sure you check those out as well. Like I said, 20-minute sessions, and you're in and you're out. Versus an hour and 45. Depending on the topic, sometimes you need the hour 45. But make sure you do take a look at HITS. That's new this year to FDIC. Also, over the past couple of years, we've had our hybrid hands-on training sessions. And they've been very popular as well. Education at FDIC on the conference side of the program is second to none. Top of the heap when it comes to instructors. Great mix of seasoned instructors and newer instructors that have new messages. It's never ever the same old thing at FDIC International. But I did want to just stress the education that also takes place on the show floor. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is when the show floor is open. And, the education doesn't stop when the classroom lights are turned out, I guess you could say. When you come to FDIC, you're not just going to go into a booth, say for a fire apparatus manufacturer. You're not just going into that booth and meeting with salespeople. You're meeting with the engineers who probably designed some of the trucks that are in the booth, and if they did not help design those trucks, or if they did not design those trucks, they played a role in their design. You're going to be talking to the product managers. You're going to be talking, take PPE, for instance. You're going to be talking to the designers of PPE. You're going to be able to ask them, just what does NFPA 1970 compliance mean? That's the type of education I'm talking about on the floor. It's not just, walking around and looking at the trucks and kicking tires and, saying, boy, that's really cool. You're getting a chance to look at trucks from all over the country, not just recently sold rigs in your backyard. That's not to say that the more local shows don't display the breadth of what our suppliers can offer. But FDIC just does so on such a grander scale. We've talked about the networking that goes on there, all the social events, but a lot of networking goes on that show floor. Got questions about NFPA 1900? The people who are here to answer those questions, who know that spec inside and out, are on the floor at FDIC. NFPA 1970, same thing. NFPA 1850. You could probably find some folks to talk about the maintenance standards and such. So, there's a lot out there. Just about any of these standards today, the ones that maybe you go talk to a thermal imaging manufacturer, for one thing, and then you would go and you could ask them a question about a standard there. Then you go to another booth to ask a question about a product that has a different standard. All those standards are now kind of rolled in together. So make sure you do your research there as well. But this is the type of education I'm talking about. It's not just looking at products and saying, ooh, ah. It really is learning about what goes into the design of those products, because the people at the booth at FDIC are the ones who played the roles in their designs. It's not only sales, it's not only marketing. You get to talk to the people who are actually behind the stuff. I remember a few years back, there was one person at the show who they were debuting it was a stock unit. and it was a stock unit. It was kind of like a model, and he had spent all year, the previous year, probably more than that, working on that. Had a tremendous amount of pride in what was sitting on the show floor, and could not wait to tell people about it and explain what went into it and explain all about it. It's that kind of stuff that you get at FDIC that you might not get in some of the other more regional events. And like I said, I could think of 3 regional events that I can drive to, 2 of which I have driven to on multiple occasions. So I'm certainly not decrying any of them. But I started to think recently just about how that education at FDIC does not stop. Once the lights are turned off in the classrooms, there's a tremendous amount to learn, not only about new product launches or what Walkersville, North Carolina did to when they designed their rescue truck. It's the engineering behind all these. Those people are there and they're ready to talk to you. But you walk in those doors, there's 800 exhibitors, and it can look very daunting. So I'm just going to kind of echo what other people have said over the years. Rich Marinucci, who used to author our Chief Concerns column, he used to every year, I think he would talk about planning. Jason Whitmire in our April issue in the FEMA Forum, he's the president of FEMA right now. In his FEMA Forum, he talked about planning it out. You really do. Now we've got the app. Now there is an FDIC app that can help you map your show, map where you want to go. It's got all the information about the exhibitors, where they're at. For me, I'm taking a look at that exhibitor list. I may end up just walking up and down the aisles, but if there are definitely things that I want to see, I'm going to get all those booth numbers. I'm going to put them in numerical order, and I'm going to walk in that way. It's got, for me, I'm going to have to do that this year because we have a number of podcasts that we do, and so I'll be bouncing back and forth between the podcast booth and the show floor. But really, I'm looking forward to learning some things. I'm looking forward to talking to our PPE manufacturers, and because there was a delay with NFPA 1970 compliance for a lot of companies. Not their fault. It just was the way it went. Want to learn about what that is? You're going to want to, they're going to be able to explain to you the science behind how they develop the fabrics that we wear for our gear. There have been a number of companies in recent years that have started designing PPE specifically for female firefighters. There's a lot of science that goes into that. It's not just about changing the size. There's a lot of science into building gear for female firefighters versus male firefighters. So a lot of that, and the people, the designers of that PPE are going to be there, and they'll be able to talk to you. So that's the type of education I'm talking about that you can get on the show floor. Of course, you're going to see new products, because FDIC has become a launch pad for a lot of products through the years. I can remember very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Or not ornate, but very involved unveilings a couple of times, curtains dropping, things of that nature. It was kind of weird. I can get on the floor earlier in the week, by virtue of the badge that I have, and that's not showing off. I'm just saying, hey, it is what it is. But I can get onto the floor, and I remember this one year those curtains were up the entire time. There was no there, and there was security around, so you weren't going to be getting a look. But that networking also can occur, on the floor. We talk about the networking that happens at social events. There's a lot of networking that happens on the floor, because you're going to go up to maybe an apparatus manufacturer, and they're going to say, well, this lighting is from X company. Then you go over there, and it's putting together all these contacts. Lighting, very good example of there's a lot of technology in lighting right now, a lot of science behind what it does. The people, again, who are behind them, behind these lighting systems are there. The owners of the companies are there. The presidents, the CEOs of these companies are there. These are the people you want to talk about. Now, how do you do it? Again, planning. Your best bet is probably going to be to try to figure out, try to contact the manufacturer or maybe your dealer. Find out from your dealer who from X company is going to be at the show, and then if you can, try to figure out how to make an appointment there, because these booths are packed, the aisles are packed. You want to make sure that somebody is expecting you so that you can get there at a particular time and have sort of undivided attention. But it's tough if you're just going to walk into the booth. Usually there's a counter in the front for the larger booths, and it might take them a little while to figure out where that person is. They could be helping someone else at that moment in time. Can't tell you how many times I've run into that. So again, that networking, it was funny. I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was. Who was it? Oh, I was talking to a manufacturer. They do a lot of bodies for fire apparatus, and they have a booth this year of their own. But I was telling them, I said to them, I was like, oh well, your stuff is all over the show floor. They're going to send you around. They're going to send you over here to find out about this, over here to find out about this. But it's all in one place. That's the best part about it. And you're going to be able to say it's a pump. Say it's a pump thing. You're going to be able to go from that apparatus manufacturer over to the pump manufacturer and say, I just sold this model pump over there. How did you do what? This is something we've been thinking about, but we haven't been able to figure out how to engineer it. What did you do? And they're not just going to be able to say like, well, we routed it, this way, blah, blah, blah. They're going to be able to tell you all the science behind what they did. They're going to be able to tell you, exactly, they're probably going to be able to tell you the friction loss through the piping. I mean, you're talking, when we talk about the cream of the crop, the top of the heap for the FDIC instructors, the conference instructors, the people you are going to meet at FDIC on the floor are the top of the heap when it comes to wanting to learn not just about a unit, but about how to manufacture that unit, how that all came into play. So really, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of education, and just recently I started to really think about. I always marvel at the size of the show floor at FDIC. Just how much there is to see, how much there is to do. You've got the Lucas Oil Stadium where there's a lot of experiential things going on over there. The drill yard, the sim yard, I think they're calling it. So for the GEM side, there's a lot of stuff going over. There's the Next Gen Tech Summit. There's a lot of experiences as well. When you want to talk to the people who are behind all the technology we're seeing right now, that Next Gen Tech Summit is where you want to be. Again, you're going to be talking to the people who are creating and delivering these products, not only the people who are selling the products. And that's one of the greatest parts about going to the show. The knowledge base, not only on the firefighting side, but on the fire product side, is also second to none. So I hope I see you out there. If you do see me, I don't mind stopping and talking. I might appear to be in a rush, but I'll always stop and say hello. If you have any ideas as far as what you'd like to see in the magazine or on the website, or maybe in some of these podcasts, stop me, let me know. You want to ask me what I'm thinking about something? I mean, I'm pretty candid that way. So I'll give you my opinion the best that I can. It's a long week. It's a big week. But don't forget about the knowledge base that is on that show floor. You don't see a lot of places where the owners and the product managers and the engineers and the developers are on the floor with you, so that you can actually bring them your problem. And they're not going to be saying, like, okay, well, let me get your card and, I'll send it up the ladder and we'll get back to you. These are the guys who are going to be able to say, our product can solve your problem, and here's why. Here's how I designed it. Here's what we did. It's going to be a lot to learn about at FDIC this year. Don't forget to check out the podcast that we're going to be doing. There are a number of them already booked. We're going to be talking. About engines again. So hopefully we can give you a decent update there. Going to be talking to some fire apparatus manufacturers about what they've been up to this year, what you can expect to see. Like I said, product is often launched at FDIC. So if there's something new coming from the manufacturers, we're going to be able to talk about it there too. Those will, of course, be shared on FDIC International's YouTube page. When you want to find these videos, make sure you're going to FDIC International. That's what's going to bring you straight to our presence, our social presence there on YouTube. And of course, I'll be sharing some insights from the show as I come across them. We've got a ton of new products, that have been sent to us. That we won't be releasing information on those products until the show begins. So make sure you check out fireapparatus.com that week, because we will have quite a few announcements coming out. So that's really it. Like I said, wasn't going to be a real long one here. It's amazing when you take the entire FDI experience and put it together. It's all about knowledge, no matter where you are at, whether it's a networking event, whether it's the show floor, whether it's the hands-on training, whether it's the conference sessions, whether it's the hits this year. It is all about knowledge base. It's not just about, shiny trucks. It's about the knowledge base that is wandering around that booth, waiting to tell you about what you about that rig, and about everything that went into it, and about the challenges that that rig was designed to tackle. You're also getting rigs from all over the country. So you're going to be able to see a lot of what people are doing this year. Of course, I have to think, now nobody has told me this, but I have to think there will be some stock units there that you'll be able to take a look at that may end up helping you get your rig a little faster. We just did a FAMA forum a couple of weeks ago that talked about where we are at in all this. So maybe take a look at that to figure out, to get just an update on where we are in terms of apparatus purchasing industry wide. And then map your show, use the app, but for sure, make sure you're planning it out. At the very least, arrange the booths in numerical order so that you can just go to the aisles. The last thing you want to be doing is starting in this corner of the show and then have an appointment all the way over here. Believe me, I've done it. It's not real good when you're keeping somebody waiting. So again, this has been Chris McLoone. Just want to talk a little bit about that knowledge base at FDIC. Like I said, the teaching doesn't stop when those final lights get turned off in the classrooms. So if you have anything you'd like me to talk about on the podcast, any guests you'd like me to try to get, any topics you'd like me to hit on, let me know. I'm at chris.mcloone@clarionevents.com. Of course, all of our podcasts are archived at www.fireapparatus.com/podcast. So again, this has been Chris McLoone for Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Have a good one, everyone, and stay safe.